So I've lived in the town that I live in for about 10 years. And I can say, honestly, for every one of those years, it has been hard to get something fixed. I've never liked any of the auto shops that are in town. I've never liked any of the service, the prices. I've never felt like they had my best interest. I've hated all the big dealers in the area. None of them really felt like anything that I ever wanted to deal with. And so every time my cars broke or whatever went wrong, or even if it was just a simple oil change, I would dread those moments. And those moments would create dad anxiety because I didn't have someone I could trust. I didn't have nowhere to go. I was busy doing all the other things that I was normally doing before the car broke. You know that feeling that I'm talking about if you've ever had a car repair breakdown when you didn't need it. Or when I say didn't need it, you weren't planning on it. Those moments can happen in a lot of different scenarios. They can happen not just in your car repair. And today I want to share a story of how that ended for me. So for 10 years, I have not had a car guy. And about a year and a half ago, I had my brother-in-law, who is a car guy, but he lives about 30 minutes away, do some struts on our Acadia. And now after you get struts done, you got to get something done to the car, an alignment. Now, this should be an easy task, but at this particular time, it was November, and all the tire places were all busy putting tires on for winter. So no one could get me in. Meanwhile, my wife's driving this car where you feel like the steering wheel is going to pop off. So I'm calling around, trying to find all the different places that could get me in. Someone has to be able to get me in. I found one. But I also found a place that was booked out almost 5 to 6 weeks in advance. And I was like, that's interesting. It's almost like a dentist. But the one guy did get in, got it done, got it taken care of. But what I want to share the story is of that guy that's 6 weeks in. Because what I learned in that moment was I'm going to try to get an oil change at the guy that was 6 weeks out. Now, it turns out everything is about 4 to 6 weeks out, depending on the season of the year. Like, that's how far this guy is backed up. Now, if you were anywhere near where I live in southern Wisconsin, the business is Olin's Auto in Milton, Wisconsin. Google it, can't hands down recommend enough. And here's why. Because when I did get my oil changed, everything went really well. Nice little waiting room. They have a fridge there with some sodas. They have a coffee machine. Nothing about it was weird. It was just, here's what's wrong. Here's what your oil change is. And it was an affordable rate that I had yet to pay. And it was like 25% cheaper than anything I was paying at like Jiffy Lube or anywhere else where I was getting my oil change done. So I was like, man, what a cool win. Well, fast forward a few months, my crew started leaking coolant. Now, it started leaking coolant to the point where I had to put coolant in it every day in order for me to drive it. Now, if you've ever had an issue like that leaves a pile of mess on your garage, it's just something you got to keep cleaning up. And you're like, another problem you don't have time for. You don't have someone you can trust. So I was like, I'm going to call Olin's Auto. So I call Olin's Auto. Nick answers the phone. And he's like, yeah, we can get you in because this is something that needs to get taken care of. He's got space in his calendar for some of these emergency ones. He gets it in, and he's like, it could be the water pump. It could be the thermostat. But he tells me the story that the water pump is under warranty. Now I was like, oh, cool. But then again, Olin's Auto is not a Chevy warranty dealer, obviously, so I'd have to take it to a car dealer. He's like, you know what? My brother-in-law works over at a nearby car dealer. Let me take this car home. He'll pick it up in the morning, and he'll drive it, do the warranty work, bring it back, and we'll do what we need to get done after it. And that way it'll be done. It'll be taken care of. And I was like, really? And he's like, yeah, no problem. So I lost my car for about 2 days. One day at the Chevy dealer, one day back, him doing his stuff that needed to get done with it. And that was it. There was no fuss on my end. Literally, I dropped it off, waited 2 days, picked it up. Everything was done. The story in this is, who does that? I was just telling him that tonight when I was getting my tires done, because he's now where I go to get my tires done, because I just trust his opinion. I trust what he's going to tell me, and I trust I'm not going to get screwed on it. And I was reminding him, I'm like, one of my favorite stories about this dealership and this auto service is when the time you got my water pump fixed by your brother-in-law, picking the car up and driving it and then driving it back, and then you doing your thing. Like, nobody does that. Nobody goes the extra mile. And so for me, it was a lesson in really in business, because think about how many interactions, if you're in customer care or any types of customer facing jobs, think about how many opportunities you have every day to go above and beyond, to go beyond what they expect and to over deliver. Because if you over deliver on what they expect, you're going to increase the amount of satisfaction they have, and they're going to be more likely to recommend you, more likely to come back. This also applies to marriage and fatherhood. Think about, as you go into the Christmas weekend here, how can you over deliver? Not in presents, but in something that you were already doing and going above and beyond. Are you going out to run to groceries? Maybe grab something and bring it back for your wife. Bring something back for your kids, like donuts or something that they don't expect. Whatever it may be, there are opportunities in your day to add this value to their life. And they're going to get a lot of bonus points. You're going to get a lot of brownie points. And it's these moments that you show up and you go above and beyond, shows that it's just not about getting a point. It's not about just doing the job. It's about showing something that you care. And the businesses that show they care are the ones that get return and repeat business. And if you want to be a repeat dad and have your kids keep coming back to you for more memories, more conversations, and more connection as they get older, always over deliver, because you won't be able to compete with anybody else that they're doing, because they always know that they can count on dad to over deliver with fun, awesomeness, and adventure. We got one more day. That's all I have for you today. And I'll be back again with you guys tomorrow.